Gerardo. I'm here with Nick, and we're here to talk about horror movies, and particularly Pearl, the brand new Ty West extravaganza.
To be honest with you, I had no idea they were coming out with another prequel. Now that there's a trilogy coming out, it's cool. Like Triple X, can't go wrong, right? I'm sure Vin Diesel's like kicking himself because he didn't finish a trilogy.
They did both with the original budget, and it makes sense because it's the same location, same cast. I mean, Mia Goth, she did Coming to America double duty on X.
Mia Goth does a wonderful job at both roles. I think it's becoming more and more difficult not to acknowledge horror in general as a genre for like the Academy, which I don't really give a shit about awards.
It does feel nice to have a shiny statue though. Like you just look at it, you're like, yeah, nice phallic statue, just glowing gold. It just makes you feel nice. It doesn't matter. You're right. It's who cares?
I collect toys. So, I mean, like, I can only imagine that a golden toy would actually be just as cool for collectors. The journey of it is just so like mesmerizing. There's just scenes where the acting is just so well done, where you're like lost in fantasy, or you're just super uncomfortable. Like classic horror feel, like run, bitch, run. You know, it's like, but it's like you don't say it out loud because you're just like, gotta just appreciate the ambiance. Average moviegoers don't like to be completely surprised anymore. They don't want to see something they've never seen before, but they want to see something that can make them uncomfortable. This film does a great job at that. Like X did a wonderful job at that. Like when I see a movie and I can generally feel uncomfortable, like I'm like, damn, they did a good job. It's pretty impressive that there's still a lot of gas in the tank for unique horror movies. And this definitely grabs my attention and makes me feel like, hey, this is a unique horror movie. I can't just guess what's going to happen. I can assume, and most of the time you wouldn't be wrong, but it's like you can't guess that that's how it's going to roll out.
I am really on Team Pearl. This is a classic setup where rags to riches. She has this very, oppressive mom, very, dour farm life she's living. And in a normal movie of the time, she would have gone out, escaped, met a man, sung some songs, and then achieved greatness. But it's not. It's a horror movie. Like it's a fucked up horror movie. So as we're kind of reaching those highs, it crashes so hard into violence where I was just like, damn it, Pearl, don't commit murders.
Let's work this out.
Yeah, let's workshop this. We'll come back tomorrow. There's no need to start busting out the farm equipment. But did you have any empathy, or like what rooting did you give to Pearl, or if any at all?
Pearl's the underdog, just like classic Friday the 13th. It's like you need to find a reason to find disconnect as well. And it's like even the people where you're like, I love them, they're great, and it's like every person is like, I want to help you, I want to sweep you off your feet. But then you realize, oh, that's right. She's not the victim. She is making victims. It's like they do a really good job at making you balance that line. And by the time you're done balancing that line, you're like, oh yeah, never mind. No, yeah, she's a villain. She's a villain. Oh yeah, she's bad.
Everything really falls in line with this being that time period. It's a very much time period based film. Pearl is 70% of the time in that time period, but once a character gets in her way, or once something doesn't go the way she wants to, she switches fully to slasher mode. And it has this comedy sense where once that switch happens, even the characters of that world are kind of looking around like is someone gonna yell cut it? Does she know she's in a Wizard of Oz type movie? Like she's going off script here. She's getting real crazy all of a sudden because the characters are like, look at the time. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. And Pearl's like, I feel things deeply. Why did you get cold on me? And it just goes to 100 so fast. And then that's when you realize, oh, we're not having a fun time. Oh, this isn't going to have a good ending.
You couldn't have planned a satirical setting better. It's obviously modern technology takes away all the fun of everything. Imagine Scream with smartphones, you know what I mean? It's like, obviously they just came out with Scream, but it's like you take away all the horror if you're able to dial 911 and launch 15 nuclear missiles from your phone. You know what I mean? It's like there's something that's very primitive about that. It's very enjoyable to watch. And like her sexual desires and her mom and just like coming of age and parenting, and it's very relatable. Like everybody can speak to that stuff right now.
The tether back to X of like her wanting much more. If Pearl was alive in today's age, she would be huge on TikTok at the bare minimum.
Bare minimum, yeah.
Out of all the roadblocks to her success, probably the most menacing one was her mom. Like, her mom is such a bitch. Like, why is she, cramping Pearl's style? Parents just don't understand. As the famous Will Smith once said. I caught myself because her mom has this line, it might be a spoiler, where she was like, I see you, I know what you do, you're a sicko. And it's like, oh, maybe that would explain, if she knew that Pearl was like crazy.
I don't think I ever felt like, damn, no, how could this happen? Like, you're like, oh, you're dead, it's coming. It's like classic horror. Like, you go to this classic A24, like deep conversation and deep monologuing and these just wonderful set pieces, and then it gets into this like, oh yeah, it's going back to horror. Okay, yeah, no, it's a little predictable again, And I think that was probably my only gripe with the film. Was I know a lot of people say the trailer shows everything, so it's like there's no reason to go see the movie. The trailer does show just about every fun scene that happens for the movie. It doesn't spoil it, but it shows it. I will say that the real meat and potatoes is the performances of the characters.
It takes its time, but there's just so much more nourishment within that film where it was never like, I was like, oh man, I'm starving for give me the gore, give me the good stuff. Like everything was so good. Like I can see myself really just continue to explore this character, which thankfully made money. We're getting Maxine. I'm happy. Like, do you have any concerns going into Maxine's? Are you done with this Ty West universe already?
Or a next sequel, what for me would mean like, hey, a slasher film. This wasn't by any means a slasher film. Like, it's more of coming of age, and it's more of like life growing up, and just this girl who is just sexually frustrated and how she's handling it, and just like mental disability, and however you want to paint it. But it's like the horror is is almost like a brushstroke afterwards.
Theoretically, in a world where Maxine sucks and they just totally flop it, like the fact that we have these two films, like double feature, I'm a happy man. And I mean, I guess that's just a natural, and there's nothing more natural than this show. Just it's perfect segues 100% of the time. As far as star ratings, speaking of not breaking conventions, I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna say it's a 5 out of 5. There's one Pearl monologue, and then there's just one lingering Pearl scene at the end. I'm a fan of movies that can just give me a thing to hold on to, and those two things on their own make this already great movie even better. So I'm on the Pearl hype train. I'm Team Pearl. I believe in the Mia Goth supremacy. Like, I'm on the TikTok with the kids. Mia Goth all the way.
4 out of 5. I think it was great. I loved X. I thought it was in the same nature of like unique and scary and creepy. The only thing is I would say against it is, one, like they gave away half the movie during the trailer, which is a common thing for horror movies because you want people to go see the goddamn movie. 4 out of 5. I'm happy with that. It was a really good movie, though. Really good movie. Definitely go see it.
I guess Halloween Ends. That's the other upcoming newer release.
I just saw Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Absolutely ignore it. Do not go see it. Really quick review. Don't go see it. It was bad.
Maybe I'll just cut out that 10 seconds and just make it the world's shortest video upload ever. But ironically, it'll probably be our best review ever. But
I know. Ironically, most views we ever had in our life.
Quick and to the point.